Welcome back. It's me, Ellen Cherry, and I'm sitting here with my guest today, Ruut. Here's Ruut.
Hi.
And she's modeling our lovely Mom Tant Moon t-shirt, and she just told me a second before we came on camera that she sexed it up a little bit by, so this is just a tip to you. If you have this t-shirt, you can sex it up.
This
simply
is how,
by...
folks. And when I get home, I'm going to cut the bottom off because it's too long. I had to have it. I like it.
It's so beautiful. Thank you, and we appreciate her support. Anyway, so I wanted to talk to Ruut. I looked up the meaning of your name is Finnish for Ruth.
Very good.
Which is one of my favorite stories from the Bible, the Old Testament. Joshua judges Ruth, and Ruth is Naomi's mother-in-law, and it's kind of the famous story that she ends up being her caretaker and following her, and it's the whole phrase about your God is going to be my God, your people will be my people, and I think it's a beautiful story. So when I found out your actual name is Ruth, I thought, this is one of my favorite names. It's such a beautiful, classic name. I don't know why I didn't know that before, because it really sounds like Ruth.
It's so weird. And it's the same in Finland. How many Ruths do you know? It's really old-fashioned.
It is.
And it's biblical, and people don't name their kids Ruut. But my mom was like, damn it, this kid is going to be old-fashioned and
it's nice
biblical.
Though, because I feel like having a tie to the past as a songwriter. I mean, I write a lot about historical things, and
Yes,
I love
you do.
researching other people's stories, and having a name that is tied to something as old as biblical writing, which is 1,700 years old, and the Old Testament's even older. So I think it's a good place to start. You're in a long, rich tradition of traveling women who hang out with other women, right?
Yeah.
Support them. And
they were interesting stories. Yeah,
we're talking about feminism today because it's International Women's Day, and if you're not a feminist, you're not allowed to watch this show. So if you're not a feminist, please turn off and if you don't know the definition of feminism, then please take a moment to look it up. It's very important that you know what that word means. I want to talk to Ruut about her music. She is from Finland. She was born in a place called Kuopio.
Very good.
But she grew up. I do my research. She grew up in Helsinki. Mm-hmm. How different is it just to have spent? I mean, you were there till you were 16, so it's not like you were just born there and then left and then came to American culture as a child. You had your whole childhood, a young bit of your adulthood in Finland, and then to come to American culture. So it's just been like, I mean...
The first thing I remember coming here, and the first time that I came here was the time that I moved here, so I never got like a little like introductory, like, do you think you might want to live here? My mom's like, no, just pack your bags, we're moving to America. So we came and...
And you moved to Baltimore, right?
Baltimore City, and I remember like getting out of the airplane and like looking around in the highway, and we got stuck in traffic driving from Dallas, of course, the first day, and in this huge car that they picked us up in. I just remember thinking, everything is so huge. And then we went to like the house where we lived, and like the doorway was bigger, and like the knobs were bigger, like everything was so much bigger, you know. It's
you're like it's America, everything. But you're tall.
I just felt like this like small European person, you know. Like,
that's true.
But the grocery store aisles are like so wide, like you can bring this like huge cart with you, and that was new. But now, of course, I love it because I have kids, so I'm like, the bigger the better. The more drive-thrus I can find, the better, you know. I've become so American.
I was looking at a map, the Google Maps of Finland, to like look up where you were born, and I don't really know that much about the geography of Finland, but just looking at the terrain of it, it's just covered in these tiny little lakes everywhere.
Yeah.
It just seems like even though your birthplace is sort of in the middle of the country, Helsinki's in a little bit of the south.
It's
just all covered with
lakes. It's the land of 10,000 lakes, they say.
Really?
Yeah.
Has somebody counted them? Has anybody done
Maybe.
Somebody needs to do an official. Surely somebody has done an official count of Finland's
You probably
lake.
know more than I do about it. No, that's what they say, and
it just looked scraped. I'm sure it was scraped by a glacier. These are glacial lakes, right?
Yeah, it's, you know, I don't really want to have a geology discussion about my home country because it's
really?
gonna suck.
No,
I'm not so good about knowing about all that stuff, except for I do remember the lakes. I remember swimming in a lot of lakes as a kid.
I can imagine. Well, let's get to your music. So Finland is known for Johann Sibelius, also a violinist that I'd heard of before who I didn't know who was Finnish. His name was Pekka Kuusisto. I think I might be saying that incorrectly. Anyway.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And also Ruut. So Johann Sibelius was considered a composer in the Romantic period. You actually have composers in your background, your grandfather, and I'm going to try not to butcher her grandfather's name because we've been working on it for like 2 hours. Aulis Saulinen.
Pretty good. Yep. That's good.
How would you say it?
Always Salinen.
And so he composed one of my favorite pieces for the Kronos Quartet, Winter is Hard, which in Baltimore we've been singing that for the last 4 months. But we live indoors, so how hard is it?
I know, and it's so bad because growing up in Finland, like, we would have winter from, like, the end of September to the end of, like, May. And here I am, like, complaining about winter. But, yeah, winter is hard in Finland. So
and
that came from an authentic place in my grandfather's heart.
It's a
he moved to southern France a long time ago.
Okay, so yes,
like, I'm out of here.
He wrote the piece. The Kronos Quartet commissioned the piece, right? They played it, and he was like, yeah, I've said enough that I can say about this place. I'm moving. So coming from that rich tradition, it seems like you probably grew up with a ton of music. I know your parents were also classical musicians.
Yeah, they actually met at the Sibelius Academy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my dad was, like, poking my mom with his cello. Cello bow. No, I made that up, but...
That's all right. Everything is
I like to, like, romanticize it in my brain.
Good. So, did you, you didn't study classical piano, though, when you were a child. You learned by ear. Have you ever taken piano lessons?
I have, yeah.
So, since then. So, you started playing for a couple of years just...
As a kid, my mom was like, oh, you have an interest, you're going to lessons. But then we moved away, and I couldn't, keep the same teacher for a long time, and I've studied theory and stuff too.
Yeah, you can tell. You'll be able to, this is obvious when you see Ruut play. So her album that came out last year is called Glimpse, and we'll play a track from the album that was excellently recorded at the Wooden Stone Room by our friend Scott Smith, and his beautiful wife Jen Smith also appears on the record. We'll play a track of that at the end, and I'm sure you might be playing one of the tracks, maybe.
Yeah, I'll play a couple.
Live here. But I also enjoyed listening to, I have your Ruut EP, which has... the Pennsylvania song on it, and I really enjoyed listening to the Steinway sessions that you recorded out in LA. Yeah. So tell me about that experience, just going out there.
Oh my gosh, it was so incredible. A friend of mine, his name is David Anderson, he restores these old Steinways, and he had a room full of them, and invited me to kind of come in and just play. And
oh, cool.
And
so just like laying over all the pianos, like,
I talked to them. I was like, hey guys. Especially the one that I played. I was like, so I'm here, like, let's just get acquainted. And
Gonna get you a glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly. And he did me nice because I ended up writing like 10 new songs on that piano. Like I'd go in a few days a week and just practice, and eventually I started just writing. And I was lucky enough to have Frank Wolf, who produced that record, to come in and bring his whole rig, and he set it up so we didn't even move the piano. Like he just came into that room and recorded.
That's what I like about that recording, though, because the album that I did 2 years ago, Please Don't Sell the Piano, we really wanted it specifically to sound like a live voice and a live piano track, and it has a lot of air in it,
Yes.
And that's one of those things where you're sort of inviting the listener, the careful listener. I mean, it's for a very specific audience.
It's true.
A person who's going to sit and listen.
It's the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Who are know who you are.
Listen very carefully through a good system or through headphones.
Exactly.
Who are going to be excited about hearing breath and noise and the movement of air from the strings and from your vocal cords.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful album. And there's a song in there that reminded me so much of, I think it was Inevitable.
Inevitable.
It reminded me so much when I heard the opening part of it. And you can stream these songs on Ruut's MySpace page, and you can stream Glimpse on your website, just in case you were wondering. And
and everything's on SoundCloud, too.
Oh, good. And Sean's going to flash Ruut's website here in a second. There it is.
Ruut. You guys are pros. It's like a legitimate TV station. It's
a legitimate TV station.
Except for I can swear whenever I want to.
You can swear! This is a swearing-free zone, or permissive zone. The intro reminded me of this, but then also when you started singing, it reminded me of Tori Amos' song "Mother" from Little
I like
Earthquakes.
that one.
Yeah. So I hear a lot of Tori Amos in your influences, which leads back to Kate Bush, which leads back to Joni Mitchell. There's a modern singer who I don't really know a lot of her music, but I know she had a hit a couple years ago, Sarah Bareilles.
Yeah, I've heard that comparison a little bit. Yeah, she's awesome. My daughter's obsessed with her, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's 3 years old, and she's like a big Sarah Bareilles fan.
That's good. So, Sarah, now you know you need to start your demographic a little bit lower.
Yeah.
My favorite songs off of the new album, which Ruut will be playing a couple of tracks on, I already said that. It's called Glimpse, and we're going to play her video, is Church Bells, but also Heartbreak, which has, I feel like, Scott Smith's signature guitar sound.
Yeah.
And the vocal styling that you have in there reminded me so much of one of my favorite writers, Amy Mann. Do you have
cool.
any influence? Do you feel like that?
I never have, like, really dove into her music that much, but of course I'm aware of her, and that's a high compliment. Thank you. She's awesome. Yeah, you know, it's so funny. That's the one song on the album that's like a co-write that
cool.
I just kind of like was like, I think I'll include this because I've never recorded it before. Yeah. So that's nice to hear you say that you like it.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Cool.
And there's one guitar song one guitar based on this album called The Last One, which I think you said you wrote for your husband, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the sentiment of it. Like, I'm keeping you for this is the final piece of this masterpiece.
Well, the way it happened, the reason why it's for him is because there were 9 songs and we were going into mastering, and I was like, is this too short, you know? And he's like, you want my honest opinion? I think it's, you know, I think you should put 10 songs on there. I was like, well, all right then.
And your husband is not a musician, just so you know.
No, but he's like my, you know, and he's got excellent taste in music, and
yes, and
so I went,
right?
so I went and I was like, you want a song? You get a song. So I wrote him a song.
Oh, nice, good. And then he's like, perfect, right? I rounded out your album perfectly.
And I waited to play it for him until it was like completely recorded, mixed, mastered. Okay. I played it for him in the car one night.
So he didn't have any clue that it was coming.
Yeah.
That's a nice surprise.
It was cool. It was a cool
So
moment.
let's talk about Unbeatable, which I read a couple of interviews with you where you talked about that you felt that this song, Unbeatable, would have a bigger appeal to a lot of listeners because it deals with a subject that you feel is really close to your heart, which is having a religious upbringing and then maturing out of it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and actually I had no idea that it would have an impact, but indeed it has. And I keep getting more and more emails and texts and calls, and that seems to be the song on this album that people really have grabbed a hold of.
With them.
Yeah, and I just went really deep when I wrote it, and I just kind of was like, all right, this is the shit. There's my first, you can have a little tip jar for my for my swear.
How many times does Ruut swear? You have to say it 5 more times so we can make $1.
Yeah, I hope I make you guys a lot of money today. No, but yeah, I just was like, I'm just gonna let it all out. And yeah, I was definitely like, I was inspired by certain people in my life who went through really difficult things, and then I realized that these are things that I can, really talk about, because if I go back far enough in my history, there was a time where I had to stand up for what I really wanted to be, and it was really difficult. It was a really hard time in my life, really dark kind of place that I
think a lot of people have that experience though when you're
no matter what it is,
raised in a religious household or any type of religion. It starts in youth, and then when you become an adult, there's a decision-making process. If you're aware and conscious, do I want to continue down this path?
Yeah.
Or do I want to make a big change in my life? And
yeah, and I don't know if it's always, because I know a lot of people who've had the same upbringing and they have such a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
It just in my specific case, it was just I just couldn't feel like I was completely being honest with myself and an authentic artist. I just, never felt like I could express, what I wanted to express. So it was a really kind of a big deal to say, you know what, I'm going to leave and I'm going to try something. I'm going to find my way. Yeah. And that's kind of like where that warrior spirit in me, I think, came from, just from those years of being able to say, like, being able to define what it is that I want to do.
Good.
And, yeah. So.
Well, and so I was going to ask you, the last thing I want to talk about with Ruut is her writing process. I noticed, and I got a chance to read, like, maybe 4 or 5 of them, but there was a month in January where you were doing a poem a day.
That's right.
So that was, I'm assuming, just to sort of inspire you, getting you into writing.
Yes.
But when you were putting a song together, do you feel that you're starting first with words or melody or chord progression? And do you write, I'm assuming you write primarily on the piano.
I always write on the piano. I've tried to write on the guitar and it sucks. Like, I'm just terrible. And
that's okay.
They always end up sounding like really bad songs. And I'm like, I know I'm an okay songwriter. Like, they should sound better, but no, I can't play guitar, so. Anyway, usually, like, I'll just sit down and I try to write every day. At some point, I try to go down there and, like, show my muse, like, I'm here, like, I've showed
Speak to me.
Yeah, like, I'm doing my part, now it's your turn. But, like, I'm sitting there.
That's a good way of thinking about it.
And then, like, usually it'll be, like, a combination of, I'll, like, hear, like, the hook line, kind of, like, what the song is going to be. And sometimes, the second song I'm going to play today is called This Storm, and I complain to my husband so much. I'm like, I never have time to write. Like, I'm with the kids all the time, and I just need time. But sure enough, like the best song I feel I've ever written came from like they finally fell asleep and went down for naps, and I ran downstairs and just sat down, and in 20 minutes I had this song. So
have you ever read any Sylvia Plath?
A little bit.
You should get into her, and she has a great diary. Her poetry and prose is amazing. Obviously, her poetry.
I saw the movie with Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's a good
That's
introduction.
probably not
That's
like
a good
the answer
introduction.
you're
That's
looking
okay.
for,
But if you read her diary, she talks about when she was married to Ted Hughes and raising their children, the struggle of trying to find time to write, and that exact emotion of like, okay, I have this intense 20 minutes where they're sleeping and I can actually focus on what I want to do.
Oh, and there's times where I'm like, oh, this is it, I'm gonna write, and nothing comes. And then sometimes, and I'll have a whole day to myself and nothing comes, but then that's I just like think it's whenever the inspiration is there and it's ready to come out, I'm just kind of like the vessel, That's why I show up every day, because you never know when the good ones are going to come.
That's true.
Yeah.
So tell us about anything that you're working before we leave and get her at the piano. We're going to talk about what Ruut's got coming up next and any projects you want to tell everybody out there.
Okay. So, I'm really, really excited because ever since Glimpse came out, I've just been like writing like crazy. It's just been a super, super fruitful writing season for me. The 30-day poetry challenge really kind of set things off for this year. So I think I have about 10 or 12 like songs that I feel really strongly about and want to record this year. So in the next couple months, you'll see probably a little Kickstarter thing happening, and then we just made a music video for Church Bells, and we're planning to, this is my plan, and this is the first time I'm talking about it in public. I'd like to, here on Ellen Cherry TV, I want to release one song at a time this year, instead of, spending all that time and money to make a whole album, which is really hard for somebody who has 2 children under the age of 4. I'd like to release one song at a time, and with a video, kind of like Beyonce, but I probably will wear more clothes. Yeah, she did, and she didn't advertise it, and it like sold a lot. It's crazy, but like the visual aspect I think is so important of the music these days, and so that's kind of my goal. So I'll be looking for my fans to help me put that together. It'll be really exciting, just taking one song and giving it the royal treatment, and then making a cool video to go along with it. That's what I want to do.
I think that's a great idea.
We'll see how it works.
Well, good luck to Ruut.
Thank you.
So next up, you're going to have a delicious 3 minutes and 58 seconds of her Glimpse video from her album Glimpse. So enjoy that. We're going to reset the stage, and Ruut is going to play some music for us. So stick around.
Thank you.
a glimpse.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm very excited to present Ruut.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with one of the songs from the Steinway sessions. This one's for you, honey. And by honey, I mean all of you.
Trying to get to the center of the wheel, always running from the way it feels. Skin is not enough of a covering. Close the door, turn on the radio. Waylon Jennings getting off on you. All anybody wants is a happy ending. Firefighter coming out unscathed. Yeah, he was lucky to escape the flames, but he says, remember this when the road gets lonely. Remember this when you're old and gray. You were lucky when you loved somebody. You were lucky all your luck was love. Remember this when you need more time. Remember this when your flowers fade. You'll be lucky when you love somebody. You'll be lucky all your luck is love. Burn a candle when you say your prayers. It's not a given anybody even cares. And your shoes take a lifetime to be your size. What do you expect when all you do is run away? You won't take all that money to your grave. So remember this when the road gets lonely. Remember this when you're old and gray. You were lucky when you loved somebody. You were lucky all your luck was love. Remember this when you need more time. Remember this when your flowers fade. You'll be lucky when you love somebody. You'll be lucky all your luck is love. Oh, yeah. Who will be there when you're down? Open up your eyes and when you look around, remember this. Remember this. You'll be lucky when you love somebody. You'll be lucky all your luck is alone. Remember this when you need more time. Remember this when your flowers fade. You'll be lucky when you love somebody. You'll be lucky all your luck is alone.
Yay, thank you. Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan DeMeo. Woo! That's kind of sexy, you know, like getting a tip from your man. $10. All right. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what he gets for that. So here's a song I wrote while the girls were napping. And this will be on the new album. It's called This Storm.
We will stay above when the waters start to rise, 'cause we'll search our love and find it's deep and wide. We won't look around, but hold a steady gaze until solid ground surrounds the sunken place. Let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. Let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. I get lost in you, and the noises disappear as you pull me through my imagined web of fear. I can't erase the pain, no, but I will offer all I am. So let us stake a claim, unbroken grace in sinking sand, and let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. Oh, let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. Oh, let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. Oh, let it rain if we stand together. We'll survive this storm. We'll survive this storm. We'll survive this storm.
Thank you. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to change my set list a little bit. I'm going to sing another new one. This is called How Far, and I got offered this little deal in LA in September. It was really cool. It was like a little publishing company, and they wanted to sign me, and in the long run, it wasn't the home for me, but it was a really uplifting experience to go to LA and do a show, and then an hour before I caught my flight home, I took a meeting, and they texted me right away and said, "We love you, we want you." It was really cool. So I came home and I wrote this song.
We started driving one summer night, left behind a cloud of dust. Didn't know if we'd go left or right, took the road ahead of us. When our luck was gone, we just kept moving on. And look how far we've come, look how far we've come. Oh, oh, oh. Things are looking up, we ain't gonna stop. The best part has only just begun. Look how far we've come, look how far we've come. Oh, oh, oh. Remember where we started from? Can you believe how far we've come? Had to take a job before too long, but we never let go. We kept the dream alive until we hear the song playing on the radio. Wasn't much to keep us from packing up and moving on. And look how far we've come, look how far we've come. Oh, oh, oh. Things are looking up, we ain't gonna stop. The best part has only just begun. Look how far we've come, look how far we've come. Oh, oh. Remember where we started from? Can you believe how far we've come? Nothing that's worth keeping in this life comes easy. I'm glad we kept believing, 'cause now we see how far we've come. How far we've come. Things are looking up, we ain't gonna stop. The best part has only just begun. Oh, oh, oh. Things are looking up, we ain't gonna stop. The best part has only just begun. Look how far we've come, look how far we've come. Remember where we started from? Can you believe how far we've come?
Thank you. This is also new. This is for my biggest fan, Matt. I wonder if he's logged on or streaming. Anyways, this one's for you, Matt. You know who you are.
Heaven knows if I had one wish, I would bring you gold. With a song I sing, have more to show than all these dried up desert bones. And I'm so tired of working hard just to survive. We fight to keep our dreams alive. Oh baby, tell me why. 'Cause I've been looking for a reason to keep dreaming. All the money in the world is not enough. 'Cause we sail the stormy seas and we're still breathing, holding on to nothing else but love. By now I should know not to let my disappointment show. I should have kept my expectations low, but I can't let go. I'm still looking for a reason to keep dreaming. All the money in the world is not enough. 'Cause we sail the stormy seas and we're still breathing, holding on to nothing else but love. If we never get to see it all pay off, it was worth it just to be the one you love. Ooh. I'm still looking for a reason to keep dreaming. All the money in the world is not enough. 'Cause we sail the stormy seas and we're still breathing, holding on to nothing else but love. Nothing else.
Thank you. I'm just gonna do one more song. Here's the
Very
lovely
close.
Ellen Cherry.
Which camera are we on? This one? Hi, guys. Sorry, I was wearing a sweater. I was a little chilly. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much to our guest, Ruut, who's been playing this piano. It sounds wonderful and amazing. It's wonderful to get to know her music. You can find her music at rootmusic.com. Can we flash that again? Right there. Yeah, Ruut. And you can check her out. We're going to play a track from her album Glimpse on the way out, so don't forget to watch the end of the credits. Our next show is Super City, May 11th. I'm going on a residency for all of April, so I won't be seeing you next month. But May 11th we'll have Super City, which is the songwriting duo of Dan Ryan and Greg Wellham. Hopefully they're going to have their whole band here. We'll see. Maybe if it's just the two of them, it's cool, whatever. But they're an up-and-coming Baltimore band, and I'd love for you to tune in and see us again. We have Leah Gilmer just confirmed for October 12th, and we're filling up the schedule, so check the Listen In page on Facebook. Again, thanks to Ruut. Thanks so much to Dan behind the camera.
Yay, Dawn.
Or Dawn. And of course, Sean at the soundboard, who always does such an amazing job.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, so we'll see you again soon. Hi, Mom and Dad, and please enjoy this last song from Ruut. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank
Take it
you
away.
to Ellen Cherry. Thank you for having me. This has been such a pleasure.
Some battles can't be won, though you fight into the death. There's a prisoner of war lying in your bed. He wouldn't love you any less if you lay down your arms instead. Who triumphs is not up to us. Standing outnumbered, still we must face unbeatable battles. Unbeatable battles. Unbeatable. We stumble and we fall with no guarantee we'll learn. But in the trenches where we crawl, where prayers are seldom heard, they're an impossible flame begins to burn. Attaining glory that will last, and greatness just beyond your grasp takes unbeatable courage. Unbeatable courage. Unbeatable. In spite of choices that you've made, or the hand that you've been dealt, you press on unafraid, creating heaven in your hell. Just blood and tears in vain, as far as anyone can tell. They only see how armor hides your pain, but those scars turn losses into gain. Stand tall, unbeatable warrior. Unbeatable warrior. Unbeatable warrior. Unbeatable, unbeatable.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Bye.
You wear those dirty shoes through the meadow today, when the church bells ring, when the church bells ring, and you will run to the door and send your troubles away. But you don't go in, you let the church bells ring. You feel your eyes well up and your chest start to burn. People marching but you don't go and you let the church bells ring. Amen. 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 Where the babies cry and the tombs lay still,